to talk a little bit about you and your attention and your intention for being here. So I know yesterday with our opening ceremony, we talked a little bit about your basic intention. And I'm going to suggest that you take a moment now and focus on that, whether it's something you hope will happen or something you hope will be cultivated in you, whether it's a word or a phrase, and see if you can put it in the positive. Instead of saying, I don't want to get sick, maybe say, I want vitality and health. And maybe you put it in the present moment. I am healthy and well. So turning that intention into a statement or affirmation of what is so, whether it's now or at another now moment. So an intention is like a doorway between what is now and what is possible. An intention is the doorway between the unmanifest and the manifest. And intention is information. We often talk about seeds when we talk about spirituality, as we're planting seeds, and maybe you've planted some seeds with your family and friends about your practice. But a seed, whether it's a seed for an apple tree or an orange tree or a flower bed, a seed has all the information in it necessary for it to then be fruitful, for it to grow into what it's meant to be. And your intention is like a seed. But how do you water your intention? How does that happen? You water that seed and water that intention and help it to thrive and grow by your attention to your spiritual practice, by putting your attention on your intention. So intention is energy. Intention is information and attention is energy. So right now, turn your attention to your attention. It can be kind of difficult to do and can almost seem like a quiz or a koan, but turn your attention at least to the one who is paying attention. Turn your attention to you, to the one who's paying attention. And through spiritual practice, you will be pretty much more aware of your attention and how you allot it. That's really what we're doing here, is learning how to pay attention, not only in our spiritual practice, but as we move through the day, to create that integration so that what you know to be true for yourself, what you believe to be true for the world, and how you want to act and the commitments and vows you have made to yourself, that you live by those. And as Gandhi once said, he says, happiness is when what you think and feel and say and do are all in alignment. We all know what we want to be like. We all know how we want to live. So our job is to create that awakening inside so we're fully aware of our intentions, our attention, and creating that integrity between how we want to live and how we do live. So enough about that. I want to guide you into a practice today. We'll meditate for about 20 minutes or so. I want to talk a little bit about the basics of meditation. If you received the newsletter, you saw that I wrote a little bit about the beginner's mind. A beginner's mind is a mind that's free from preconceived notions. It's a mind that's innocent, that refrains from labeling and judging and categorizing and complaining. A beginner's mind is a mind that's free from encumbrance. And that's especially important when we practice meditation. Many of you have been here together for our Alone Together programs, but you've been meditating, many of you, for years. So I invite you to don your beginner's mind and treat each moment and each meditation as if it's the first time. The second most important thing in meditation is to keep coming back to whatever the focus is. Today, we're going to go back to basics. we'll do a mindful practice and a body scan and a breath awareness practice. And so we'll go back to basics. And what that means is every time your attention drifts away from what we're doing here, simply come back again and again and again and again without any judgment at all. Be nice to yourself in there. Do not beat yourself up in any way. That is not helpful. And how we treat ourselves in meditation and during our spiritual practice creates well-worn highways in our brain. And as that happens, the way you treat yourself in meditation really is revealed and how you treat yourself when you're walking through the world. So be kind to yourself. So we've talked about beginner's mind. Thoughts are okay. It's okay to get distracted. Come on back. Be kind to yourself. So letting go of expectations and not trying to have a certain experience other than the one you're having. You know, you're wise. Your consciousness is primary. And if you give your spiritual life some attention, as we're doing now, the unfoldment of it is perfectly organized. There's not a lot of doing, which is good. There's just being. So I'm going to invite you to be here now. And as we sit in meditation together, I invite you to close your eyes. But if you prefer, you can keep them open or gaze softly downward toward the floor. The idea is to sit relatively still. But if you need to scratch an itch or adjust your posture, you're invited to do that as well. So I'll be keeping track of the time. And well, as I said, I'll guide you every step of the way. So mindfulness, what is it? It simply means to be here now, to be engaged with what you're doing while you're doing it. It's a certain type of attention that is non-judgmental and on purpose. And so let's bring that mindfulness into this moment right now. Closing the eyes and getting settled in your meditation posture, whatever's comfortable for you. Become mindful here of the sounds around you. Donning that beginner's mind. Simply listen. Become aware of the varying sounds, whether they're near or far. Notice the texture of the sounds. Notice how some sounds come and go, and they punctuate the silence, while other sounds are ever present, at least for now. Practicing welcoming everything and resisting nothing. Even if you think some sounds are more pleasant than others, tune into the sound of the sounds, letting go of any judgment. Also, with your eyes closed, you might become a little more aware of how you're feeling emotionally. Maybe there's a strong emotion, or maybe there's a residual emotion. And just as we welcomed everything we heard, let's welcome everything that we feel. Every emotion that's here, if any, maybe even noticing where they might reside in the body. And now, bringing your mindful attention to your body. First, noticing how comfortable you are to adjust your posture. Go ahead and do that mindfully. And then we'll begin to scan the body and noticing sensations rather than judging them. Perhaps the sensations of warmth or coolness, lightness or heaviness, even the sensation of the air on your skin or the way the clothing is draping your body. As I draw your attention to various areas in the body, I invite you to soften, to become aware of them. Simply be present to them without judgment, with a beginner's mind and with kindness. Beginning at the top of the head, becoming curious as to sensation, leaving aside judgment, softening your forehead now, becoming aware of the sensations in and around your eyes, in and around your ears, in and around your nose, in and around your mouth. If you notice that you're judging anything in particular as good or bad, think of your attention as a flashlight beam, scanning the body for various sensations and imagining the light of that beam to be love, kindness, gentleness, and healing. Bringing your attention now in and around your throat and neck. Lowering your shoulders and noticing the sensation of your arms as they rest. Perhaps noticing where they rest in your lap, your hands, and that contact point between your hands and your thighs. And noticing the various sensations in your hands. Perhaps you feel some warmth or some tingling. Welcoming everything and resisting nothing. Drawing your attention now to your upper back. Simply noticing what's here as you soften. Perhaps you're leaning back against a cushion or a chair. And notice the junction point between you and the support behind you. Noticing your lower back. And bringing your attention now around to the front of your body. Noticing your chest, your diaphragm, the gentle movement. Welcoming all sensation as you soften your belly. Noticing where you're resting in the chair, feeling the support underneath you as you let go of any tension in your hips and pelvis. Perhaps you feel the support on the backs of your thighs. Perhaps you feel your hands on the tops of your thighs. There's nowhere to go. There's really nothing to do other than notice what's here as you're kind to yourself, and notice the sensations in and around your knees, your calves and your shins, and the sensations in your feet and your toes. Bringing all of you into your awareness as you notice the sensation of being supported by the solid ground underneath you. Letting your awareness expand now to include your entire body. Remembering that your attention is like a beam of love. Sitting here loving your entire body with your attention. When the mind wanders to another place or time, come back here to this moment, to this home, your body. Perhaps you can feel its aliveness. Noticing sensations of perhaps pulsing or vibration or tingling. Tune into the sensation of being alive. Noticing now the gentle rise and fall of your chest. How the body is being breathed. And for a few breaths here, bring your attention to that intention that you set at the beginning of this practice. Whether it was a short phrase or a word, let's sit with that now, staying out of how it will happen and simply being present with this intention, whether it's the desire for peace or joy, contentment or health. Sit with your intention. And then you can let go of it, staying out of the how and when, and simply knowing you've planted a seed in your awareness. There's no need to put your attention on it now as you bring your attention to your breath. Like your body, your breath is right here, right now. Become mindful of the movement of your breath, staying out of any judgment or control, trying to make it go a certain way. Simply notice the inhale and the exhale. Perhaps you notice the difference in the temperature of your breath from the inhale to the exhale. Or the varying sensations of breathing and the pauses between each breath. Let everything be as it is. There's no need to struggle against anything. Letting the breath be natural, it might speed up or slow down, get deeper or shallower. Simply pay attention to it without any judgment or evaluation. Simply noticing sensation, being mindful. We'll sit like this for a few minutes and I'll keep track of the time. You might even silently say to yourself, I am aware I am breathing in. I am aware I am breathing out. Or simply in, out. Whenever you notice your attention drifting away to an idea or thought, come on back to the breath with kindness, maybe even appreciating each breath. And now, keeping your eyes closed, take your attention off the breath and simply sit with open awareness, welcoming whatever sensation, sight, or sound arises and is revealed in your awareness. Bringing that mindful awareness to everything without judgment, with the attitude of welcoming rather than resisting what's here. When the mind wanders to a different time and place, bring it back here as we practice being here now. So as our meditation comes to an end, I invite you to keep your eyes closed and deepen your breath a little bit. Welcoming everything you feel physically, welcoming whatever emotions are here, welcoming whatever sounds are present. Inviting some movement into your hands or feet, arms or legs, head, neck. And noticing how you feel. You can slowly, if you like to, begin to open your eyes, but there's no rush. You can dwell in this restful awareness as long as you like. Eventually, it will pervade your entire life. This practice of being here now, welcoming everything, being present with what's going on inside you and outside, or seemingly outside. Noticing if you feel peace in the heart, and opening your eyes whenever you feel ready. That integration period after meditation is essential. It's the essential integration of that restfulness, that welcoming, that presence, that kindness that you practice in meditation. We move out slowly into our regular activities and bring those qualities with us. I like to close the meditation by bringing my hands to prayer position, against thumbs against the chest, and bowing to the love that lives through you as you. Bowing to the love that lives through me as me, and that lives through everyone, whether they know it or not. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. So I want to share with you something that changed basically my outlook on a lot of things. As you know, some of you are from Europe, some of you are listening to this from Australia or China, but I can tell you that here in the United States, we have been going through quite a lot. And, I wish someone could wave their magic wand and fix everything. And whether it's happening in your country too, I bet you wish for the same thing. And I read this poem once, and some of you have heard me share it. It's by Lao Tzu. He wrote the Tao Te Ching. And this is a poem that I kept waiting for someone else to make things more peaceful. And he offered these words of wisdom. In order to have peace in the world, there must be peace between nations. In order to have peace between nations, there must be peace in the cities. In order to have peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. In order to have peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. In order to have peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. So that's why I meditate. That's why I hang on to my spiritual practice. It's not only for me and the people I live with, but it's for my neighbors. It's for my city. It's for my country. It's for the world. So thank you for doing the same, being here with me today. So I hope you join us again tomorrow. We have, I believe it's Sue Cooper's leading tomorrow. Am I right, Sue? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and stop our recording. And I'd like to invite anyone who would like to share in the chat how you're doing today. Feel free to do that. If you'd like to unmute yourself, I'd welcome you to do that. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, someone is, Vanessa saying, ataraxy, a state of calming and tranquility. Thanks for being here and being part of the feast today. I think our website's going to be up and running. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, you can go to feastforthesoul.org. We're an organization run strictly by volunteers. We don't have any ulterior motives other than to create peace on this planet. That is our motive. And so if you aren't on our newsletter, getting our newsletter, I invite you to do that. We have little bits of wisdom that you might enjoy and recordings of these meditations and more. So thank you. Sue, would you like to unmute yourself and say a little something, say a little hello? Thank you for all your beautiful notes in the chat.
Thank you, Sarah. That was absolutely gorgeous. It's remembering the simplicity of attention and intention and that beautiful beginner's mind. And that's the simplicity, isn't it, of meditation and mindfulness. It's the remembering and giving ourselves the space. So I'm thrilled that we're partnering and with Susie as well for this incredible 40 days of feast, feast for the soul. So I very much look forward to leading the guided meditation tomorrow with everybody, and do hope that you can join me for again another simple practice. But it is the practice. It's doing it every day, which makes it easier and easier. So please join me.
Would anyone like to share? Say how they're doing? How you feeling? Is this anyone's first feast? Feel free to unmute yourself. I see so many beautiful faces on my screen. I just like to gaze into them.
We're still recording, Sarah. I wonder if
I know.
Hi, Sarah. Samantha
Hi.
here. This is my first feast, and I found today very soothing, much needed, and greatly appreciated. So
Thank you, Amanda. Where are you sitting right now?
I'm sitting in Nottingham across the